Hey Luke, we know you're listening, so it's a special...
Dude! Leave it for the pod.
Dude, this is the pod. Are you fucking stupid?
Leave it for the pod.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Leave It For The Pod with your hostesses, with the mostesses, coming at you with a new video which is about... Oh my god, I panicked and I forgot what I was going to say. Is this going to be cut? No? Okay, so basically what we're doing today is we're going to be talking about our 3 favourite films. I'm going to be talking about Chef by Jon Favreau, starring Jon Favreau. Eric's going to be talking about
The Goonies.
And Reese is going to be talking about...
The Green Mile, starring Tom Hanks.
Oh, you had to look at the disc to make sure it was Tom
No, I
Hanks.
wanted to see if I could find out who the fucking
All I know is this
director
is
was.
great content. So he doesn't know the director to his favourite film, which is good.
I know it's produced by Steven Spielberg.
Why every time do we do this?
Mate, just because it's my favourite film doesn't mean I know every single detail about it.
But why is
you
it...
couldn't even pick your film.
I did though.
Yeah, but barely.
Yes, so today oh my god. So my film that is my favourite is Chef by Jon Favreau.
Who's also in the Iron Man series.
Yes.
If you watched last week's pod about the Marvel films, you will have noticed we talked about Iron Man.
Yes, you will have noticed. Thank you for that, really helpful.
Just plugging our other videos.
Of course, you got to. So this is Chef. Jon Favreau's in it. He writes it.
I think it's pronounced Favreau.
Favreau?
No, that's not what
Favorita?
I just said.
I think it's
Favreau. Yeah, so Jon Favreau is really good in this. Basically, for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'll just give like a brief overview of it. It's about a chef that is disgraced after he gets a terrible review from a critic online. And then he pretty much the critic comes round. He throws abuse at the critic, and then he gets fired from his job. Gets a bad view. He leaves his job, and then he's a bit lost, and he has to go to his ex wife's ex-husband, who is played by Robert Downey Jr., who is also
my God.
in Iron Man.
I wonder if this is where they...
Is this part of the Marvel Cinematic
Well,
Universe?
do you want to know who else is in it?
Josh Brolin, Thanos.
No, Scarlett Johansson.
My one has just
also
Who plays
AKA
Black Widow.
Yes. Is there anyone else from the Marvel Universe in it? I don't.
Maybe Ant-Man, but he's so small you can't see
Yeah,
him.
exactly.
My God!
He's in all the scenes, Ant-Man. And yeah, so basically he leaves, and then he gets from his ex-wife's ex-husband a van, and he travels America with it, and it starts off just him as a means of getting home to start the business, but he ends up starting up, and his son comes with him, and they get to know each other better because he's a chef, so he doesn't get to see his son as much, so they get to have a lot of bonding time that they didn't have before.
Sounds like someone I know.
Right.
When did this film come out?
I don't know.
They come out after Iron Man?
Or like what year did this film come out?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I think it was like 2012 or something, but I have no idea.
Right, you hear that, Luke?
You hear that, Luke? I've got no idea.
Shout out to Luke.
It's an opinion.
Shout out to Luke, one of our listeners. Hey man, how's it going?
How's it going? You alright? Oh, that's good, man.
So glad.
What are you up to? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
That's great.
Well, anyway, let's
as you
get
were
back to
saying.
it. Yeah, so, and then he does like these Cuban-style sandwiches. It goes down really well. His son markets it because he's not actually allowed to... You're not cutting this. Because he's not allowed to eat... Oh, my God.
He didn't,
This is exciting.
he didn't prepare his mind for this.
No, I really did.
When did you last watch this in 2012?
I'm just having a brain fart every time I speak.
6 years ago.
I'm really tired. So yeah, where I was about what I was about.
Guys, if you're just watching this, don't worry. The next 20 minutes will be even better than this.
Yeah, I watched my film last night to prepare.
Well,
I watched my
it
film
just I
at least
can't.
this year.
I'm just blanking on whatever I was saying.
Mate, just talk about Chef. Talk about the film. Why do you think it's your favourite film?
But yeah, it's my favourite film because it has got everything I want in it. It's got food, love that. It's really good. Jon Favreau got trained by Favreau got trained by Fabrice got trained by a Michelin star chef, and
Was it Gordon Ramsay?
No, close.
Was it Marco Pierre White?
No, close.
Was it Aunt Bessie?
And the one thing that this chef had to like, the one thing that this chef had to like, I genuinely can't speak. I just can't. I can't even get anything I'm thinking out.
Should we start the pod again?
I would like to, yeah.
Do you actually want to start
No.
from the beginning?
Nope.
I don't, but like.
This is your 10 minutes. Once that reaches, like, I'm going to say 11 minutes.
But so the chef that
It's
trained
fun
him,
to edit for you.
the chef that trained him, he said basically the only way that I'm going to train you for this movie is if you do everything properly. So you use the right techniques. You clean everything how it would be done. Everything is accurate so that it doesn't reflect badly on him. So that's why when I saw a video, and you've seen this, didn't you, Eric, of chefs watching it, they were actually quite impressed because it was all the right techniques.
They said it was, they were like, I'm surprised it's very genuine because normally when you see films, you're like, that doesn't happen.
And basically, just Jon Favreau's hilarious. There's like a great bit where the critic, when he walks in to the critic who has been pretty much put on Twitter, Jon Favreau's a no-show, or not him, but you know the character's a no-show, and then he comes in and then pretty much has a rant at him, which gets recorded, and it is just really awkward and like horrible, but he laughs about it, and it is very, very funny, and then there's a good thing with his son. Because, as I said, they didn't have a lot of time to see each other and speak a lot.
How many times have you seen this film?
Loads of times. Like, I watch it all the time. I watch it.
Would you say, because we all have films that we watch when we're like, I'm bored and you can always watch it. Would you say this is one of them?
I would say this is a film that I can watch and know I'm going to enjoy myself. I don't have to particularly concentrate. It's because I know what happens, but it's such a nice story seeing...
It just sounds like Ratatouille.
It is, except it's not a cartoon and there's no mouse. And if there was...
There's no mice in Ratatouille either.
He's a rat.
He's a rat, like you.
It's called Ratatouille, no Mouse-atouille.
That is true.
That's true. A ratatouille is also a dish.
Yep.
Your film sounds pish.
It's not pish.
Your
It's real
section's
good.
taking a long time.
But it's a really, and so he gets to know his son better. They have a really good time, and it is very simple. But there's like lots of like different things. Like there's a bit when they're driving from like town to town, and the guy who's played by the voice Sid, the sloth.
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah, I can't remember what his name.
I love Madagascar.
Was well, I can't remember what his name is, and the phone's not working. But the
Completely opposite.
the guy in that's very funny and completely different from Sid. Like it's weird that he's the voice of it, but they have a really good chemistry, and I think the film it's just and ends up that Jon Favreau's character gets back with his wife. After this like adventure, as she starts to see that
he's the ending.
He's more he's more passionate and he's more invested in what he's doing in life and spending time with his son, and so they get back together. It's very happy, and then the critic who initially caused all of this to happen, well, I suppose you could say it was the manager because he didn't let Jon Favreau cook the food that he wanted to, but the critic actually pays and it backs Jon Favreau's character to open his own restaurant and cook the like Cuban food that he's always wanted to cook, and with that money they make the restaurant. It's a great success, and then the son works there after school and they get to see each other more, and what was when you see the film initially a broken family comes together throughout the whole film, and it's also very funny, and there's lots of like things and stuff.
Can I ask a question to Reese?
Mm-hmm.
When you edit this, can you set a count of how many times he says Jon Favreau?
Sure.
Thanks.
Jon Favreau.
I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's fine. You'll learn.
But yeah, because initially I had a really difficult time choosing my favourite movie because I thought I could...
Why did you choose this one? What were your other choices?
Well, Men of Honor with Cuba... Junior.
Cuba Libre.
Cuba Libre. Okay, Cuba Goodwin Jr. or something.
I'm just enjoying watching him try and figure out the name.
What?
Cuba something. Cuba something.
That was his favourite, one of his top choices for favourite film.
The thing is I'm bad with names, but
The films are shy.
I'm bad with names.
Who
but
else was in it? In Men of Honor.
A lot of men.
With honor.
Who was the other big actor in it?
Robert De Niro. Good Will Hunting.
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's a good film. Should have chosen that one.
Well, because everyone chooses Shawshank Redemption, and the thing is that
neither of us
like
liked it,
I was saying, these films that I'm like I love them, but I don't watch them on like a lot. Like it's not like I'm always watching these films. I just know for a fact they're my favourites, and I go back to them every now and then. But like Chef is one that I've watched more recently, and that I keep watching. Also, Hacksaw Ridge is up there. Just I like war films, Saving Private Ryan. Like the thing is, I've got so many that I like that I can't really decide.
So where does Chef fit in the MCU? That's my question.
In the MCU,
Yeah.
well, I think it's at the very end of it, after all the things happen, and things have settled down, and the superheroes have actually went away.
Oh.
Yeah, and Jon Favreau is actually like 80 years old,
And is now the boss of Tony Stark.
No. Tony Stark. Oh, but by the
He's
way, Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in this was absolutely incredible, because basically he's not there for long. You only see him because Jon Favreau.
Was this before Robert Downey Jr. had all his problems, or was this?
This was after. This was after
2012. If it is 2012.
Yeah, no, but it's definitely, it was more recent. But basically, Jon Favreau has to go in, ask him for money to get it, and it's really funny because he's like talking to him, and then the secretary that he has comes round, and he goes, "Are you okay? Are you eating well? Are you doing all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm all right. All right, well, look after yourself. I won't eat. I don't want to see you starving." She walks away, and he just goes to Jon Favreau. He goes, "5 minutes ago, she just told me she was pregnant with my child," and he goes, "Oh, really? That's terrible." And he goes, "Yeah, it's terrible. The worst part is she's lying. I got my tubes tied. She's trying to take me for all I'm worth. I'm going to keep her for a while before I can crash into the ground." It's just really funny, and he's a dick.
It's
But
dark humour.
he plays what Robert Downey Jr. does best. He's just a dick, and he's horrible to Jon Favreau because he knows how awkward it is for him, and he brings up the fact that he slept with his wife and just makes it very uncomfortable, and Jon Favreau does a great job at reacting to it all. It's very funny. But yeah, this is probably my favourite film that I would just whap on any time, but there are obviously all those other films that I really enjoy that I couldn't really put over each other because they're all good for different reasons.
Cool. Well, I'm next, and my film still is The Goonies, which I believe we've all seen.
Yes.
Have you seen The Goonies, Reese?
Aha.
I'm just gonna be quiet like you two were when I spoke.
Yeah.
Well, that's because neither of us have seen your film.
Aye, but it was very. It's more difficult doing a pod when you're just speaking. It's better when there's back.
Well, I can't
and
really
forth.
say anything about The Chef because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but you should see it. 'Cause
I've seen a clip of it. I can't really say I know the film.
If it's
like.
on Netflix, I'll watch it.
Yeah, watch it.
Oh yeah, The Goonies.
You see what I
I
mean?
like The Goonies because it was. I always used to watch it when I was a kid. I think I watched this film over 20 times, and yeah, I just really used to like it. I used to like enjoying watching it, and I think for every kid, you just like enjoying watching films of groups of kids because every kid likes having a group, and I could really.
I like watching groups of kids as an adult.
Not as a kid. I said as a kid. When you're a kid, you like watching films of kids because you can.
It sounds
What is
so
the-
It does
weird.
sound weird.
When you're a kid, nah.
No, I know, but it just sounds weird.
When you're an adult, you don't like watching groups of adults.
No, I just watch it because.
Well, I know you only like watching kids, but that's you.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Yeah, we cut out that whole segment.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I remember watching this film for the first time at school. I watched it at the start of it. We didn't get to watch the end, and I was like,
Was it
"Man."
in Spanish?
Yeah, I watched it dubbed.
What was it called in Spanish?
See?
The Goonies.
Wow, the
really-
Spanish language is so
Yeah,
sexy.
translation is
They have
incredible.
the Goonies. That doesn't like have a
No, well,
translation.
because they called themselves the Goonies, and
Yeah, because it's not a real word.
yeah, exactly. So they just called them the Goonies. Yeah, but yeah, and I remember I was like, oh man, this film actually looks quite good. I want to see the end. So I remember getting from the video club. Do you guys used to use a video club?
I used to go to Blockbuster.
Like a Blockbuster.
Yeah, Is that what they call it?
I never went to Blockbuster.
Yeah,
You never went to... Oh, I love Blockbuster.
I always used to go
That's
in.
'cause you're old.
I used to get like movies every weekend.
Babe.
Reese's 26 and has 2 kids.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
No, I don't know why I
This is my
like this
dad.
film so much. I just really liked it. Also, it's fun fact. You were talking about Josh Brolin.
Brolin.
It's his first film.
I always forget he's in it.
It's his first credit. It's very weird to imagine that kid becoming Thanos, the most powerful being in the MCU. But,
The world.
Yeah, in
The universe.
in the whole universe.
Multiverse.
Yeah. Oh, good word.
Oh my God.
And yeah.
Oh my
Also,
God.
apparently,
Look at me
it's very funny because
I'm gonna make that.
my second choice of favorite movie was The Gremlins, and apparently this film is set in the same universe as The Gremlins.
They are very similar kind of
Yeah,
films.
I mean, The Gremlins was made
What
by
were The Gremlins
Steven
2?
Spielberg. I do not know about that.
Have you seen Gremlins?
I have seen Gremlins too.
It's good.
It's a
in
bit
New York.
it's a bit over the top, isn't it?
New York.
Yeah.
Don't they have like a spider
Awesome.
gremlin? And
Yeah, they have, like, a-
electricity gremlin and
Yeah.
a bat gremlin or something like that.
It's so cool.
Guys, watch Gremlins too.
90s was the time to be alive.
I was alive in the 90s.
I was alive for a very small part of the 90s.
2 years.
2 years of the 90s.
Well, a year and a bit for you.
yeah, year and a bit.
A year and some days.
I was alive for 4 years.
Yeah, and
Fuck, you're old.
also another cool fact is they filmed most of this film in set, which is very interesting, bearing in mind that most of the film is filmed in caves. So they actually went down in caves and like set all the cameras
That
down.
must be
there.
dangerous taking a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
to
because
some
think about that.
Yeah.
Think about taking all the equipment. And
Educated swine.
Steven Spielberg did not direct this, but he did direct certain scenes. And apparently, another cool fact is I don't know if you know the scene of the pirate boat.
The pirate ship.
Yeah, there's a pirate ship at the end of the film.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
that. It was the climax.
They took 2 months to build it, and they refused to show the kids. So the first time they filmed, the kids seen it was the first time it was actually filmed.
So they
which
didn't
is-
have to act.
So they were getting a
Yeah,
real
pretty
reaction.
So they
much.
weren't good.
No, they weren't talented.
That's
at
called
all.
method.
No, and I didn't notice. What's the name of the actor that's Sam in The Lord of the Rings? Because he's the kid in this, and I didn't realize.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He's also in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Stranger
I
Things,
didn't.
it's Bob.
I didn't realize until ages after seeing the film that was him, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh my
the kid
god.
with the braces.
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah.
No, not. Yeah, the kid with the braces.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and
I like Chunk.
Chunk. Why?
Reminds me of me.
Could you do as a? No, I'm joking. No,
Truffle
no,
shuffle.
I'm not
Truffle,
gonna
No
yeah.
one's gonna see it.
I know that's
Well,
why
they'll
it
hear
won't
it,
be
though.
as funny.
They'll
Hear my rolls
They'll hear
slapping
them
against each
rapid.
other. That's it.
The moist rolls. Give him a, yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. You can't imagine it with your thoughts. If you guys can't imagine his face, then you just have to go into a banner.
Yeah.
And he's the guy in the middle. That's
In
Reese.
yellow.
Yeah.
Michael's
On
the
your
guy on
phones,
the
all
left.
you can see
Eric's
is,
the guy on the right.
yeah, and my face and the guy
No.
on the right.
I know.
I look like
Uh,
our voices would not match. Imagine my voice, how you look right now. That'd be so weird.
I can see it. I don't see myself with Reese's voice. I think you have quite a unique voice.
Yeah, shite.
I think mostly because you have quite a strong accent as well.
I don't think
Anyway,
I do.
I love the
he's
Goonies.
Uneducated.
Yeah, but thinking it was 1984 when it was filmed, and thinking of taking all that equipment to a fucking cave. It's
What was
quite
it?
a bit tricky.
1984.
It was 1985
84.
when it came out,
Bloody hell.
which is I know it's ages ago.
Yeah.
That's like
To be fair,
A
that
long
makes
time
that makes a
ago.
lot of sense. Them being allowed to take loads of kids down to a
that is
cave.
33 years old.
Because
that
like
film.
imagine like health and safety.
Yeah,
you would
exactly.
never be allowed to take all those kids into an actual cave. They would just make it up. They would make it all fake. But there would be
Also,
no
the
way.
guy that did a sloth again mentioning sloth. You remember the sloth?
Yeah, the one that's like. "Ugh."
Yeah, the guy with the deformed face.
Is it Sloth is what they call him?
I think his name is
Yeah, I'm
Sloth.
pretty
Me.
sure. And he does go.
Yeah.
"Ugh."
And that took 5 hours to do that makeup, which seems a lot
No
of time.
wonder.
for
It looked real.
Then it looked real.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it looked
When
real
you look
now.
when you look now, you're like ah.
And also, he takes his t-shirt off. No, he takes his shirt off,
Yeah,
and he has a
it's
Superman.
Superman.
And because the director from this one directed the first.
Which
Superman.
means this is in the DC universe.
And oh my god!
Because
so
they know of
so
Superman.
then Gremlins.
Well, they must do.
But don't they just know if it is a story?
Then Gremlins is
Oh,
also
yeah.
in the DC universe.
I think it's it. Is it?
Because Gremlins in the same universe as the Goonies.
Oh my god.
These universes.
Yeah, they're multiverses.
E.T. is in the same universe.
What universe is the boy in striped pajamas in?
I feel like why I like the Goonies was because every time, like, I had a group of friends,
Really?
and in every group of friends,
You hear that, Reese?
you have
He's not got one now.
you have the no, I don't have.
Why do
don't
you
we
like
just
the Goonies? Start from there.
No, the reason why the Goonies is my favorite film because I've always it's like what I told Michael. I always put it on. I can always put it on and I'll enjoy it.
Like me with Chef.
Yeah, exactly. I will never be like, oh, this is shite. I'll take
What's
it
your
off.
favourite moment?
My favorite moment, I really like the scene of the boat because I used to love pirates when I was a
ship.
kid. Yeah, ship, pirate ship. I don't know why. I just felt very satisfying. When I was a kid. You know, kids trying to find a treasure and then they finally find it.
Yeah, because it's basically a film of what you and your what kids and their friends imagine.
Yeah,
Being able to happen.
it's like
when you
a-
play. That's what you think.
yeah. It's like if you and your kids, junior kids, if you have your friends, just start playing and imagine all
It's got
this.
a great soundtrack as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, like most Steven Spielberg films.
That films in the 80s.
And yeah,
Lots of
that's
films
the
today,
reason why,
so-
and I think I never got bored of it. That's the reason why I really like it. I just every time I watch it, I enjoy it, and I remember watching it as a kid. That's probably the reason why I consider my favorite film. But again, I have that with a lot of films. I enjoy Gremlins. I really enjoy The Shawshank Redemption as well, but I wouldn't watch that every day. I couldn't watch that every day.
But you know it's good.
Yeah,
It's like one of the
like,
best.
like I could see Gremlins or The Goonies maybe twice in a month and it'd be fine. If I saw it Shawshank, I'd be like, oh, I just watched that recently.
Aye.
But yeah, that's my choice for film.
Fantastic. Now, my choice for a film. Now, I was a bit sceptical on this when I first saw it, but it turns out that the Emoji Movie is one of the best movies I've ever seen. No, in all seriousness. In all seriousness.
Let's stop
though,
all the tomfoolery for 1 second.
my favourite film is The Green Mile, which is a film based on a book by Stephen King.
Not Mile 22. It's easy to confuse them.
Yeah, they are very similar films.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also not Green Street with Elijah Wood.
Or Meryl Streep.
So it's starring Tom Hanks, probably best for Forrest Gump.
Big.
Big Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah.
He's
Castaway.
in Castaway.
Woody from
Wilson. Woody
Sully.
from Toy Story 2.
Sully.
What?
Sully. The
Sully.
the plane. The plane.
Upside down
pilot.
plane.
Oh, what? Sully.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, and all
The Post.
The Post.
Toy Story 3.
With Meryl
Toy
Streep.
Story 3.
Toy Story 2.
Captain Phillips.
Toy Story
Saving
1.
Private Ryan.
Oh my god, to name a
He's
few.
bringing a new one called Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this his name's Paul Edgecombe.
It's funny.
Repeat that again.
Paul Edgecombe
Oh,
or Edgecombe. It might be Edgecombe.
I love it.
But basically, the story is Paul Edgecombe is a prison guard on death row, which they call the Green Mile because of its lime-like colour of flooring.
Yes.
Now, death row, for you who don't know, is a place where people go when they're sentenced to die.
When they've been very bad girls and boys.
Yeah, there's no women on this death row.
Alright.
So basically,
Sexy.
Paul Edgecombe is our lead, and his co-lead is John Coffey, played by Michael Clark Duncan, and he is basically a big friendly giant. And he comes in, and he is
Eat your sweet corn.
not framed for murder and rape, but he was at the scene when they found the bodies. That's a bit of a spoiler.
Oh my god.
But he's on the Green Mile. They call it the Green Mile because of the lime-like floor colour. And
I've heard that somewhere before.
I think you said that before.
I remember
yeah.
someone said it, and
Chef Shite.
Chef is not 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. 86%.
Yeah, well, what does a tomato know about food that gets cut up?
Wait, if you see
Roasted!
86% Rotten Tomatoes, John Favreau, Scarlett Johansson.
Anyway, John Coffey comes in and basically he's a miracle worker.
Robert Downey Jr.
He's like an angel sent down from heaven. Tom Hanks in the film has a very bad bladder infection, so John Coffey grabs his groinal area and takes away the infection and then spits it back out again like a horde of locusts. And there's a few prison guards. There's Tom Hanks. There's a guy called Brutus, who's also very nice. There's a guy called Dean, who is also in Saving Private Ryan. Ooh. And Dale from The Walking Dead is also in it when he was much younger.
Oh, that's cool.
The film came out in 1999. And there's a couple of other minor characters, but all four of them are the main ones, and they're all very nice to the prisoners in terms of treating them with respect because they're on death row. So they're trying to at least make their last days on Earth a little bit enjoyable. But there's this one little prick called Percy, who basically,
of course, his name is Percy.
Yeah, who basically got the job because he knows people and. All he wants to do in that job is see them die. He just wants to be the one that says the last words to until they get electrocuted and die. So John Coffey gets put on death row and
87%.
On death row, when you're in the electric chair, you have an audience of people watching you die, and they come there because they want to see you die. Basically, if you kill one of their family members, they want to come and see you die. So it's like a show for people. And they kill the first guy, who is you don't really get a big backstory about him. There's 3 people in when you first go. There's John Coffey, who gets brought in, and he's this towering, like massive, heavy set, very muscular guy who they're a little bit frightened of, but it turns out he's very nice. There's Edward Delacroix, who is French, and he comes into play a little bit later. He's very funny, but all the prison guards like him as well. He's very loud, but they like him. Percy does not like him because...
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, so he doesn't like any of them, and he's the one that he wants to kill, that he actually wants to watch die in the electric chair. So they're...
His name's Percy, the officer?
Yeah.
So it's Percy the pig?
So, basically... basically, what happens is... They want Percy out of the job, and he has an offer to go and work at a mental hospital. So what they do is they say, okay, we will let you lead the execution of Edward Delacroix if you promise to hand in your notice the next again day. So they go through the whole process with them. What you have to do is you wet a sponge and place it on top of their head so the current goes to their brain faster and they die faster. And then they put the electric switch on and they die almost instantly. So what he does is he doesn't wet the sponge, so he puts a dry sponge on their head, on Edward Delacroix's head,
My God.
And then the electric surges through him, and as it's going through him, Tom Hanks realizes that he's not wet the sponge, and he basically he starts smelling, obviously, because he's burning from the inside because of all the electric current flowing through him. They tell the warden comes and tells them to turn off the electricity, but they're like, we can't because he's still alive. So if we turn it off now, he's going to be like in extreme pain. Percy looks away. He tries to turn away because of what he's done. He did it on purpose because he wanted to see what would happen if the sponge wasn't wet. And then Tom Hanks goes over and like twists him round and says, "You better watch what you've done." And basically his whole head explodes with like blue fire coming out of his eyes. And the whole audience runs away, and they're trying to get out the door because of how horrible a sight it is.
Fucking hell.
Afterwards, Percy still doesn't hand in his notice because he says, "I can get you all fired, so I'm not leaving. I want to stay here now." And then the main villain comes in, and it turns out that he's the guy that raped and killed the 2 kids that John Coffey has been framed for killing, because John Coffey tried to use his powers to bring them back to life, and that's why he was with them when they were dead. He found them, and he was trying to take away the death and bring them back to life, and he was very upset that he couldn't do that. So it turns out that this guy that was with them, who goes by the name of Wild Bill, because he wanted to be like Billy the Kid, he used to work with the father of the 2 girls, and that's how he managed to know them. And he basically threatens them, saying, "If you scream, I'll kill your sister, and if you scream, I'll kill your sister." So that's how he got them to be quiet, and then took them away. And John Coffey grabs Percy and breathes the infection he took out of the warden's wife, which was a brain tumour, into his mouth, which causes him to go over to Wild Bill, take out his gun and shoot him. And then the infection leaves Percy, but he's left like brain dead pretty much, so he ends up going to the mental hospital, but as a patient and not as a correctional officer.
That's a good
So he
choice.
turns it round. And there's also this little character called Mr. Jingles, who is a mouse that they all try and find.
Yeah.
Like
And
in Ratatouille.
yeah, but not like that because it's a mouse, more like Stuart Little.
Alright.
And he takes a specific liking to Edward Delacroix, who I think his name's Edward. I'll just check that.
Yeah, I remember seeing the episode
It
of
is
The
Edward.
Simpsons.
Yeah,
That episode of The Simpsons where Barnes goes and he gets all the bad energy out of him.
Mhm.
That's how I found out about this movie, because I was like, this sketch is stupid, and then my parents were like, this is actually from a film.
yeah. Cool. And then the mouse likes Edward Delacroix and does little tricks for him. And the officers say, like, basically, when everything's over and you've obviously gone through your sentence and been killed, we'll send the mouse to this place called Mouse City in Florida, because it's not real, but they want to give him some sort of like hope that the mouse is going to go into a good life after he leaves. And then the mouse runs out, that he throws a little spool of string for the mouse to fetch, and he comes but it bounces out into the main Green Mile, and then Percy comes and stamps on the mouse and kills it. And then John, you just, like, Edward Delacroix starts crying immediately. He's like, why did you do that? The two officers are just like, Tom Hanks and Brutus are just standing there like, oh my god. And then John Coffey holds his hand out of his cell and he's like, bring me the mouse, boss. And he puts it in his hand and he squeezes it and brings it back to life. Like its little tail was wagging. And then he puts it on the floor and it runs back to Edward's cell. And Edward's like, thank you, John. He's French. I don't know if you could tell by my accent there.
Thank you, John.
And then Percy hears that it's still alive and he's like, it's not alive. He goes out and he sees it. And then just before he pulls the switch to kill him, he whispers to him and he says, Mouseville's not real. It's just a lie they told you to shut you up. And then he pulls the switch and kills him. So he ruined that last little bit of hope that he had, that his mouse was going to have a happy life after.
Wow.
Sad
That's-
ending then.
It's
Yeah.
at the end it's happy because the whole film is told from the perspective of Tom Hanks
Yeah.
years later, and Tom Hanks is given part of John's power because John wants him to see what happened to the two girls, so he holds his hand and transfers some of his power to him, which gives him the power of life. So Tom Hanks' character at the time of him telling the story is 107 years old,
Oh,
and the story took place in 1935.
Alright.
That's when he was 44, and now he's 107 years old telling the story to another woman that's in the care home that he's in. And he basically says, my curse for killing one of God's angels is living to see everyone I love die.
that's good. Because it's Stephen King.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, Stephen
it's
King.
got
so-
that sort of mystical element.
But Mr. Jingles is also still alive because John transferred some of his power into the mouse. So Tom Hanks still has Mr. Jingles in his little cigar box. And he brings the woman at the end to see
That's
Mr.
nice.
Jingles. And he still fetches the spool.
See, I love that because that's like a good rounded film. Do you know what I mean? I really like that. I
Also,
thought it'd
Tom
be good.
Hanks' wife in the film is the wife of Steve Martin in Cheaper by the Dozen. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that film in ages.
Me neither. Good film though.
Yeah. So that's really good. I because earlier on I was quite confuddled and didn't come across very well with my thing. I think I should just read some of like this, just tell you what the cast is of Chef, just so you know, because I feel like I didn't give it a good.
You did. You said Tony Stark.
Yeah. So the guy I was talking about who was the voice of Sid was John how you say that? Leguizamo. Leguizamo. It has Sophie Vergara in there. It's got Dustin Hoffman. I didn't mention he was the manager of the place.
Sofia Vergara.
Oliver Platt. I don't know who any of these people are. And basically
So I won't bother saying their names.
So that's
They
the
are
full
important.
cast.
But yeah, the ones that I left out, and it pretty much says the critics' consensus was
Sam Rockwell was in the Green Mile. He was Wild Bill.
Oh.
Wild Bill, Sam Rockwell. What's Sam Rockwell been in?
Oh my god.
Kind of guy I know his face, but you struggle to think of him.
He's
in
been
movies.
that's him there.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
He's been in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That's the one.
Iron Man 2. My god.
Oh wow, this is just.
Oh my god.
What is
the
that?
MCU is so powerful.
7 Psychopath, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Moon, Mr. Right.
I do feel like. Do you get the feeling that all these actors, when you get to a certain level, you go to the MCU? Do you know what I mean? Like Benedict Cumberbatch did all these things, Sherlock, this and that, and now he's Doctor Strange in the MCU. Mark Ruffalo did all these things through his, career. Now he's the Hulk in the MCU. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you do all these things, and this
maybe.
is like the bit where you're well known.
Or he's in Charlie's Angels, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990.
I love that film.
Matchstick Men,
So he's in a few...
Cowboys versus Aliens.
Oh, a
Oh,
classic
God,
with what's it? Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
And
G-Force.
Best
He's in G-Force.
Oh,
Oh.
G-Force.
With all the guinea pigs.
I'm gonna bring a new G-Force, I've heard.
Dunno.
That's kind of
Maybe viewers, you should comment, tell us what else he's in,
Please,
Yeah.
someone comment our videos.
Please interact with
Anything.
us. Please.
please.
For the love of God.
Luke, write a comment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, comment down below if you've made it this far.
What are
Yeah.
you doing right now, Luke? Put that. You know what I mean?
Tell us what you guys are doing as you're listening to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
We are very interested.
And then we'll read them out in the next.
Give us
part.
ideas for videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do anything.
We have a camera, so we can film challenges.
We can film challenges. You're right. It doesn't always have to be.
Spacey,
Oh.
especially spicy ramen challenges.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that was this week's pod. It's shorter than normally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
A nice little bite for you to just
a nice
nibble
little
on.
bite-sized nugget of.
Yeah,
your
sorry
order.
for not reviewing recent films recently. We've just been very busy with our lives.
Yep.
Yeah, we have some actually.
Yeah, we do actually.
we do
have
actually
lives.
have lives.
Surprising. I mean, especially.
But hopefully, eventually, we'll get that done,
Yeah.
and we'll bring some newer content.
And I would like to
onto the channel.
apologise. I'm very tired, so I'm an idiot. So this wasn't the best one. You were very good though, Reese. You explained Green Mountain.
Well, he watched the film last night, so well
I watched the
done.
film last night
Very
just to
fresh
prepare.
and
Well done.
I
Hats off.
prepared
Leave a like. Leave a like just for Reese's work, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. For the love of God.
Bye guys. See you later.
LIFTP.